I mean, let's go a little bit, backwards and see what are the health problems and why we experience health problems. First of all, there's nothing that could actually experience that it has not our participation. Maybe not our consciousness, maybe we don't understand what's going on, why we experience something, but we have engaged in this. So something is not coming from outside uninvited. We want something from this. We just don't know what we want from this. So it's quite important not to react to this or come up with a quick conclusion that, okay, well, there's this, I'm having a problem. Because when we think we're having an actual health issue or an emotional issue or whatever, it's because we don't recognize the relevance. And this is where the whole issue of immunity comes together. It's like we experience something which we did not know before, so to us it's like foreign. It's like, I don't know this. An instinctive reaction is like, I don't want this because I cannot recognize the relevance of this. And this is where the immune system comes in. The immune system does not mean to defend against something. This is a misconception. It's about to integrate and metabolize new information. So this new information, it may be relevant, it may be irrelevant. If we react right away, we miss the opportunity to see if there is a relevance. So if something, we're constantly kind of in a flux of things that happen into our lives, and they come and go. So even if it's imbalances, these imbalances, they last a very short time, and they automatically readjust. We don't need to do anything about this. This kind of engagement, we want it. We want things to be bombarded with new information because that's how we evolve. But it has to be short. So this relationship with the new information that the immune system processes, metabolizes, and makes it its own, and becomes better, and becomes more broadened, it's a welcome. It's something that we need for this. The issue becomes when something which starts like a temporary imbalance, it becomes a chronic one. So when it becomes a chronic one, then obviously there is a message that keeps banging again and again. If we try to exorcise the actual problem, whatever that is, we miss the opportunity to see the relevance. And if it keeps coming back again and again, that means it definitely has something to say. And it has not happened to punish us. It has not happened because we made an error, a mistake. It has some kind of relationship, which we don't know yet. And that's fine. But let's see what is actually a health problem. A health problem can only be one of two things. It can be an excess or a deficiency. There's nothing else. So when we experience something in excess, which is like an overabundance of an energy, which clogs. Take stress, for example, on a physical level, but also on an emotional level. So the stress is in the overaccumulation of energy, which does not know how to be diverted and utilized. And the same happens with physical issues. Take weight gain, for example. We gain weight, which is an overaccumulation of energy, which does not know how to be distributed. So an excess cannot exist without a deficiency. So coming back to this original question, how do we solve a health problem? Rather than try to solve a problem, we need to realize what's the opposite problem. The problem is missing our attention. So it's like if you have an excess, trying to solve this excess but it's like, say, well, I have this issue and I want to solve it. When you have this kind of dualistic relationship, can never be solved. Never. Even when it seems it's solved, it's not solved because during this process. It's solved because a deficiency, if we have an excess, a deficiency comes and balances itself out. So when something appears as an excess, rather than try to fix this excess, and solve this excess, we got to find the opposite problem. The solution is the opposite problem, is not to try to fix this one. Because this one, it keeps doing this yo-yo and never resolves. So we step back and say, well, okay, I have this excess here, but what's the deficiency? This is the only question we need to ask. Something is deficient in order to create this imbalance. So what is deficient? Whether it's a health issue or it's an emotional, feeling, there is something else that is off on exactly the opposite way. So in reality, in order to solve something, we need to find the opposite problem and match the problems. They're not problems. They're just, over-excess, and deficiency. So by seeing both of them from a third point, that's how they communicate and they balance itself out. And guess what? Problem solved. Both problems are solved. So the same thing works the other way around. When we feel fatigue, we feel depressed, we feel, anything which indicates a deficiency. Well, this is happening because an excess somewhere else. So rather than trying to have this relationship between problem and solution on a one-to-one, we establish a triangular relationship where you find the other thing, the missing one, and then you just sit there. And then the two things by themselves, they balance itself out, and the solution appears magically. So even when we think we solve a problem because we tried to solve a problem, never happens in that way. It happens because the other thing, the missing thing, comes up into surface, and the communication happens, and that makes the problem go away. Not because we try. If we try to solve a problem, we can never solve it. We perpetuate, because the attention goes into the problem and trying to get a solution, which first of all is a denial. It's like, I have a problem and I want a solution. What means I want a solution? It means that I don't want the problem. Well, the moment you say, I don't want the problem, guess what happens? The problem keeps intensifying. So this is quite important to reset our perception about this, because this thing we can apply it into everything. Not just health issues, but into everything. So whenever something is off, things should be off temporarily, because we create a readjustment, and through this constant flux, we become better and we evolve. Whether it's the immune system, is our mental perceptions, our emotional balance, everything else, it's actually because of this. And it's kind of a simple principle, but it can be applied into everything.